Hello everyone, and this is BioPhoenix here, and you're watching this on Xanadu Castle. So today we're going to be doing the end of the year special, but for manga this time. Where I'm going to be talking about every single manga series that I've read within 2024. And just so you know, this isn't going to be every single individual volume because that would take forever, and plus I didn't even keep track of that. I only kept track of all the ones that I've read from Volume 1 to their end volume. That was all I did. And honestly, I think that's just better doing anyways, because I experienced the whole stories and their whole series and all that. So, shouldn't be any confusion from there, so let's just get right to it. Now, the very first manga that I read happens to be an all-in-one, and that happens to be Uzumaki from Junji Ito. Now, I've actually never read a Junji Ito manga before until this one, and I gotta say, it was good. I liked it. It was very fun, very creative, very weird in a lot of aspects, but it was the kind of cool, weird shit that I like. I definitely dug that. Of course, the art style is just amazing and really crazy and awesome. But the actual story itself, it was good. Like I said, I do like it, but I definitely don't think it's masterpiece level like a lot of people claim it to be. I don't know. It was good, and it was like I said, creative, and I thought the characters were they were okay. I didn't, love them, but I didn't hate them either. They were, fine. I don't know. I felt like there could have been a little bit more, effort put into the character writing, I think. But that's just me. But I don't know. Like I said, this was still a good book. Like I said, I definitely do think it is worth reading for, like I said, the creativity aspect of it, I think is just crazy and weird and definitely makes you think and all that. So, yeah. No, like I said, I thought it was good. It was definitely good. But it does make me want to read more of his stuff. Alright, so the next one we got is yet another horror manga author, and that happens to be Orochi with Kazuo Umez, and yeah, so this guy is just really freaking amazing. He is basically what inspired Ito. So obviously, if you are a fan of Ito's stuff, you should definitely check out some of his stuff. I still feel like there's a lot of people that are sleeping on him, and it's a shame because his stuff is really good. But yeah, anyways, so Orochi, from what I can say, is that it's about this girl who has mysterious powers, and she kind of just goes around witnessing different humans interacting, their events, and sometimes she does get involved with them, and of course there's many different crazy ones, and yeah, I thought it was really fun, very interesting, and of course it does have some really good character writing in certain parts, especially because they're kind of short stories, but they're done I don't know how to explain it, but they're done really well, I think. They do a good job conveying good character moments in such a short span of time. It was actually really impressive. And also just with Junji Ito's artwork, yeah, his artwork is also just incredible too. It's really crazy and psychedelic and creepy, and it's just great. Yeah. It's like I said, I feel like too many people are sleeping on this guy, and he's put out so much great stuff. He's put out The Drifting Classroom, and then there's My Name is Shingo and all that. Yeah, and he's has tons of other crazy stuff that hopefully one day we'll see get released over here. Alright, as for the next one, this is actually a classic one, and that happens to be the original Kamen Rider. Yeah, that big omnibus edition. Yeah, I happened to read through that whole thing, and it was really fun. I actually really liked it. Now, I will go out and say, when it comes to Kamen Rider, I'm still a noob at it. The only thing I ever really watched a Kamen Rider was, a few episodes of Decade, which I liked. I thought it was cool, but I just never, continued it. And, of course, I've heard that, that there's tons of other different series out there that are also really good, and just never got around to watching them. But I ended up getting like I said, this one omnibus version and of the original, and I read it, and like I said, I thought it was very fun. It was very cool, lots of great artwork in there. That was, like I said, very classic looking, and of course the, one thing that did amuse me, I thought was funny about it, was that, some of the enemies, they have, man at the end of their name, and I remember there was, a bat enemy, but of course they can't call him Batman, so instead they call him Man-Bat. I thought that shit was funny. But yeah, no, it was very cool. It was, like I said, definitely a very good, origin story to the whole franchise sort of thing, which I thought was cool. Like I said, I thought it was pretty enjoyable. And the next one we got happens to be a very crazy one, and that is Alice in Borderland. And holy shit, this one was so good. I really enjoyed this one a lot. So, for those that don't know, it's basically about, sort of like what I said about, like, the Running Man, or the other one I talked about there, the Tetradome run. It's basically like a deaf game show thing, where these characters wound up in this, like, weird, like, theme park, sort of, where they have to collect a bunch of, like, playing cards, and of course there's, like, they have to go all through these death mini games where they have to complete them, and if they don't, they die. And then of course they end up meeting like, a bunch of characters along the way. And then there's like different like other crazier games they got to do where they have to like be competitive with each other. It gets really crazy good. And like I said, I absolutely loved it. Thought it was awesome, very thrilling, and the ending was not what I was expecting. It was definitely a weird ending, but it was kind of a weird ending that I kind of liked. I don't know. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was definitely different for sure. But yeah, no, I still thought it was definitely worth reading through. Like, it was definitely very fun, very exciting, and yeah, no, it's definitely another one that I definitely love in the whole deaf game show type genre, like, like Dead Man Wonderland. It's very similar to that, too. Next one is a very popular one that was a childhood favorite of mine, and I finally read through the whole series, and that happens to be, the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Series, yes. For those that don't know, I, like, grew up watching Yu-Gi-Oh! I grew up with the card game. I loved it back then. And I still think the show is, like, still funny in, like, a goofy way, and it's still fun. And, the manga series is similar, but has, like, some pretty interesting differences that I thought was pretty fun to experience through. So, like, the very first, like, couple volumes are pretty much, like, Season 0, like, like, back when Kaiba had green hair and such. Yeah, they're kind of similar to that, but then after, when they meet Bakura, after that whole incident, then it kind of goes into Duel's Kingdom, and then after Duel's Kingdom, then it goes into, Battle City. So yeah, and so it does like follow like similar beats to like the original series, but it does do some events differently. Like there was a couple duels that I was kind of surprised like were pretty different in the manga compared to the show, and there were some that were like in the show but were not in the manga, and all that vice versa. Yeah, it was like I said, it was very interesting. Like as someone like myself who grew up watching the show, like it was very interesting to see how it was done differently, and yeah, it was still very fun and very cool. Alright, and that's the next one we got. This one is probably the most different one out of the bunch because, so far I've been talking about horror mangas and thrillers and frickin' action and Yu-Gi-Oh! But now this one is, yeah, completely different. And that happens to be Yokohama Kaidashi Kikyo, which is probably, like I said, the most different thing out of here, because it's like, there's no, like action and people getting shot and killed and stabbed and all that kind of crazy stuff. So basically what this one is about is that it's about this android girl who runs a coffee shop, and the coffee shop is in a, like a post-apocalyptic world where there's not that many humans about and everything's kind of like overgrown. It's a very pretty thing. Like it has a really beautiful art and the sceneries are great. And, yeah, like I said, it's very wholesome, very simple, very, cute, but I really liked it, though. I thought it was very fun. It was definitely a good, refresher on things. I don't remember what I was reading, like, before this, but if it was one of those, like, more darker stuff, I mean, this is definitely something that will definitely lift you up, because, like I said, I thought it was very chill and very fun. Alright, that's the next one we're going to be talking about. This one I'm not going to say too much on it because I actually reviewed it on the channel, and that happens to be Hideout, which is a horror manga that's very short. You can probably read it, the whole thing, in like 10 minutes, and yeah, I really enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was really cool and very fascinating, so yeah, I definitely want to read more of his other stuff. I'll definitely get to them in 2025 for sure, I guarantee that. And the next one after that happens to be another classic one, and that is Space Battleship Yamato, the original one. And from my understanding, after reading this one, is that they actually didn't finish it, which, yeah, from what I read of it, yeah, it definitely does end in a weird way, but despite it ending in a weird way, I still thought it was good. Like, it was still fun. It was still very interesting to see, like, how the original went, because, when it comes to Lee Matsumoto, when it comes to all his stuff, like, I'm mainly familiar with Galaxy Express 999, which I absolutely love, and yeah, it was really interesting just to see how things kind of started there, and there was actually some pretty good fun moments throughout it, too, so it was still fun, even though it does have, like, a weird, like, ending climax to it, though. And of course, you know, just like his other stuff, like the artwork is just really awesome. So yeah, like I said, not a whole lot to say about this one though, but it was good. It was good. And after that, we happened to get one of the ones that I picked up recently, and that happens to be that all-in-one volume of the Music of Marie. And by the way, if you watch my pickup video for when I talked about it, I like failed miserably at explaining what it was about. But now that I've actually fully read it, yeah, I can definitely say it was actually really good. It was really good. So basically what it actually is about, so there's this girl, she lives in this like cool, like not cyberpunk, it's like more like a weird steampunk world. It's very cool and unique looking. I really love the architecture in it. So basically she lives in this world, and she has like one of her friends, and they kind of just like hang out and such. And then on her 18th birthday, there is a rule within the town where she can actually choose to marry someone, and she wants to marry like the one guy that she's with. But then it turns out that the one guy he doesn't like want to, because he's like obsessed with this like god who is named Marie. And that's basically the best way I can sum it up without giving away too much. But I thought it was very interesting. Like I said, like the artwork and the world was really cool looking. And also there was some like pretty dark stuff towards the end of it that like really took me by surprise. And I thought it was really cool. And then, of course, the whole ending part of it was also very heartwarming, and yeah, like I said, it was very good. It was a very good read, and like I said, it's not long either, so it's definitely one I would recommend if you do need, like, a shorter, like, manga series with some really cool artwork and some stuff in there that will definitely make you think. And finally, as for the final manga series that I read, and this one I just finished recently, and I gotta say, it's still one of the most craziest things I read, and I loved it. And that happens to be Innocent from Shin-ichi Sakamoto. And yeah, holy shit. This series was just, wow. It was really good. I really liked it, and it's really crazy. I will say that in my pickup video, when I picked up the last volume of it, I said I was going to do a single video on it, and now after that I finished it, I don't know if I could do it justice, because it's really hard to talk about this one without giving away too much, but basically to sum it up, in case you guys like have no idea what this is that it's a historical fiction about an actual family that were, like, the Sanson family. They were executioners in France, and it's about his kids, and he has a son named Charles Henry Sanson. And he's doesn't really like the idea of having to execute people, because, you know, like, killing people is kind of a fucked up thing to do, right? Even if you're, like, paid to doing it. So he doesn't, like, have that, like, nature to doing it, but of course he kind of, like, is forced to doing it, and then, of course, eventually he, like, actually gets good at it. And then he has, like other siblings that are also, like, kind of, like, fucked up in the head. Like, they're, like, way more, like, psychotic than him, which is kind of crazy. And, yeah, there's a lot of, like, really, like, dark stuff in this book. Like, okay, as much as I love it, it's not an easy one to recommend, because there's just so much, like, crazy shit in here. Like, so much, like, all, like, the typical bad stuff that you can think of, they're in here. And of course, there's a lot of, like, really cool psychedelic trippy moments, which I really love. And also the blood and the gore in this one is just insane. Like, okay, it's not like over the top violence like Fist of the North Star, where people's, like, heads explodes in, like, a really unrealistic way. No, this shit is violent in the way that it's very realistic. Like just to give you an example, like, there was a scene where they, like, cut open, like, people's, like, dead bodies, and when you actually see, like, the guts inside, yeah, it literally looks like a freaking, like, autopsy. Like, it's that kind of graphic. Like, it is just so, like, insane. And, of course, with the guy's, like, art style, is just so freaking amazing and beautiful looking. Yeah, he does not skimp out on those, like, those dark moments, so yeah, you gotta be prepared for that. But, my god, though, like, it's just a beautiful work of art that is also, like, really disturbing. But yeah, no, with all that being said, though, I think that's probably the best way I could sum it up, because, yeah, like I said, there's a lot of other stuff that goes into it, but it's kind of hard to explain it without spoiling it. But, yeah, like I said, I thought it was just absolutely great. And that'll be it for all the manga books that I've read in 2024. And like I said, these are all just a series that I started from Volume 1 to their final one. So, yeah, hopefully soon, when some of these other series that I've been reading that are still, like, publishing, still ongoing, hopefully they'll end soon. So then I can finally, like, catch up with them and then talk about them. And, of course, there are definitely going to be more interesting stuff now because I actually did get a tablet recently. So meaning that I can actually read more of these, like, really cool, obscure stuff that have been fan translated, which I'm excited to. So yeah, with that being said, thanks for watching and commenting, and have yourselves a great day.